Welcome to the first episode of 2021 for the Keoni Chats podcast show. It's been a roller coaster of a year with a lot more downs and ups, but the finish line has been crossed. Well, by the time this episode released, the finish line has been crossed for about 8 days, but it's done. That year is officially in the books, and we got to get ready to get on that starting line for the 2021 year. And it's my mind has got this 2 weeks to think about how I want to take this brand in other directions or just more directions. I'm not going to mention what they are, but there are some projects that are starting to lift off the ground, which I'm very excited for. So as far as projects, one did just officially close in the DC animated movie review series, as 2020 was released the Sunday after the Roman Cortez episode was released. So if you want to check that out, go to keoniconlu.com, KEONICONLU.com. I did revamp the website, or I'm still working on revamping the website. So hopefully it is easier to find out where the DC Animated Review blog series is located, but it would just be under the blogs tab. You should be able to see the main page where all the postings are listed as soon as your cursor is hovering over the blog tab. So again, it's still a work in progress, but hopefully it is easier to get to all of my blog postings. So since that has officially been closed, that project's done for now. I probably won't touch it again until December 2021. It is January, which means that the NFL playoffs are approaching, and also the off season is vastly approaching as well for other teams. And I love the NFL draft because it's such a fun thing to see where these top prospect college players, and it's really more for my mind to think about someone I've seen in a college jersey for 4 years in an NFL jersey for potentially 5 to 10 years or so, So keep an eye out for my first release of the 2021 NFL mock draft. I believe at this point when this is recorded, picks, I believe up to 13 should be solidified. I think 14, 15 are pretty much there, but it kind of depends on this last week of the NFL does go. But so I think I'm going to release a top 10 mock draft for now until at least until playoffs are completed, Super Bowl winners are announced in February. So keep an eye out for that. I will post it on my website, so again, keoniconlu.com, as well as on all of my social media platforms for the KC Media brand. That will be KC Media 13 on both Instagram and Twitter, and then Conlu K Media on Facebook. So I worked on this project last year for the 2020 mock draft. It was so much work as far as trying to figure out with the draft position for these teams, what these players that it was so hard to read on because some of them opted out for the year, just to try to figure out how they could fit into this NFL franchise. So keep an eye out for my top 10 NFL mock draft, maybe next weekend or something like that, just because that at that point, week 17 will be done. The at least top 15, maybe more, could be figured out, and it'll be easier for me to kind of gauge. So check that out. New projects, always fun to do. But for this project, my Keoni Chats podcast show, my guest for the first episode of 2021 is Alana Richardson, or if you're a fan of her music, she is known as Alana Rich. So I've known Alana since high school. There's about a 2-year gap between her and I. So I played football, and she was a cheerleader, and I wasn't like a star on offense or a star on defense. I just played on special teams. This is kind of the frame I kept from high school on, and I never saw myself as in the glamour or in the spotlight as far as a quarterback or running back position is concerned. But Alana, she would wear my jersey with my number for like pep rallies or the game weeks or game days. So it was awesome. I was like, all right, getting some attention because it's hard work to be a football player because you had to also balance school and all that. So it was awesome to get her to don my number, even if it's for a short time. But I knew that she was also working on a musical career, as I did run into her down the line at the University of Oregon as she was performing for the UO Cultura Filipina Club. And as soon as I saw her on stage started to sing, I was like, I know that woman. Oh my gosh, that's Alana. So I got back in touch with her, and then lo and behold, now she's a guest on the first show of 2021. So I was trying not to date it also during the interview. I was trying to avoid asking her, I was just saying by the time this episode is released, it'll be 2021. So I did ask her about Christmas and New Year's plans. So if you're listening to this episode and get a little confused about that, just keep that in mind that I did do this interview the weekend before Christmas because I wanted to know also what her plans were with COVID and everything else going on in the world. So very, very grateful for her and very grateful for people like, everyone, all the guests that I've had up to this point. Honestly, I'm always going to be grateful. I'm always going to be thankful for them. On Thanksgiving, I messaged a few guests and just said, I'm thankful that you were open to being a guest on my show and open to being on a podcast that's hosted by me. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Alana Richardson, also known as Alana Rich. Alana, I've known when I met you, you were Reyes, but now you're Alana Rich.
Yes.
How are you doing on this, I guess, eve of the weekend before Christmas? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a long week. Just trying to finish up all the holiday shopping for gifts and all that. And yeah, feeling pretty good, all things considered.
How was Thanksgiving because of COVID, obviously? How were you able to cater that celebration to what's going on in the world right now?
Well, my mom and my stepdad live in Oregon, so we're kind of within the same pod. We see each other pretty regularly. So it was really nice to be able to spend Thanksgiving with them. Usually it's like 20 of us packed into a house, like my cousins. I have a huge family, cousins, grandparents, aunts, uncles, but obviously this year we had to tone it back a little bit. And we just had a small little Thanksgiving at my mom's house. And it was really nice. Yeah. Feeling really blessed to be able to spend the holidays with some family at least.
Yeah, I know. And Thanksgiving, I usually have it with my mom. She cooks a meal. We're both Filipinos, so we know that the Filipinos can cook up a mean meal. But she was like, we should probably not do that this year. So I had to do the cooking on my own. I guess I live with my brother, so him and I did the cooking, and that was fun, but also it's like, I miss the easiness of it, just
right, just having the food there.
Yeah. Right? It was also my first, so this is my second adult job where I can actually have Black Friday off. So I was like, oh, cool. The first time I can actually, and they say, oh, I can actually go do shopping. I can actually afford to do shopping, but then it's all closed. So I'm like,
Cyber Monday, you can do the online shopping too.
This is true. Now, Christmas-wise, you just moved in? Are you planning to do any fun celebrations at your house? Do you have a tree?
We do have a tree. No celebrations, unfortunately, at our house. It's kind of we're kind of trying to be a little bit more cautious since we are planning to see my grandparents for the first time in like a whole year. And we've been quarantining. We've been, we got tested negative, thankfully. So yeah, we do have a tree though, which has brought a lot of joy. Every morning I wake up, make my little matcha, and then I turn on the Christmas tree. It sounds so silly, but it's a great start to my day.
Yeah. It's plus you have something to look at too as you're kind of pacing around the house. Just kind of stare at the lights for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 2 little dogs, and they love to run around the bottom of the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their new favorite thing to do.
So my brother lived with my mom for a little bit prior to him and I living together right now, and he has a cat. At that time, he had a cat, and I would go visit for obviously the holiday break, and the cat would just be like underneath a tree pawing at the decorations or like
Climbing up the tree.
yep, yep. And now we're like, oh, we got a small tabletop tree, but it's like I'm glad that we don't have to worry about that this year. It's like, whew.
Right. Yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean, like, it took me probably about 2 hours to set up everything, just so that my husband and I and my dogs could enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I guess any little thing we can do to bring extra like, joy this season.
Yeah. At my current job, so it's obviously bare minimums crew, but they still wanted me to decorate the office. So we had like two fake trees that I put up, and I got a little bit of a cut on my finger, and I was gonna go tell one of the managers as a joke. It's like, oh, you think climbing up a mountain to cut down a tree is hard? Try putting up a fake tree. I got a cut, man.
Right. Look what you did.
Thanks, workers comp, please.
I love that.
So you and I met at a very interesting time in our lives in high school at Sunset. Do you remember the exact way we met?
You know, I don't remember the exact moment, but I do just remember seeing you in the hallway. I think you were a few classes above me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just remember seeing you at the games and you kind of like a more social person. So you were definitely at like the games,
Yeah.
hanging out in the hallway and that sort of thing. So do
So
you remember?
so back I graduated in 2010. So I would assume you graduated probably 12,
2012, yes.
2012.
Mhm.
You were a cheerleader for Sunset High School, and you actually wore so for those high schoolers that play football, the cheerleaders would wear the jerseys and whatnot. I
Mhm.
believe you wore my number, which I was
I
just like,
did.
all right, I'm getting attention. Sweet.
Cool. Actually, now it's coming back to me. It was so long ago. I feel like
Oh yeah.
these memories are now like clicking in my head. Yes, that's right. I did wear your number.
Yeah, it was a lifetime ago. No, don't worry about that because yeah, I remember guys, I was just like, I was just on the team and I wasn't that much of a contributor, but then when I saw like, oh, you were my number, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, cheering you on.
Like, woo, woo. And then
Yeah.
so after that, some time passed because obviously I graduated, you finished out high school,
Mhm.
and we reconnected at University of Oregon, Filipina Club, and then you were
Oh,
a
that's
singer.
right. Yes, yes.
And then my second guest of the show is Miguel Pobre, and I believe he
Mhm.
might have reached out to you or someone else. Do you remember what they asked you or how their proposal was for you to come sing at that meeting or that show?
I remember getting an email. I think it was an email or maybe an Instagram DM from Miguel, basically kind of introducing me to the Filipino club at U of O. And he proposed this show. I think I opened up or something, or maybe I was the main act. Again, I'm trying to recollect these memories. And I was like, right away, I was like, heck yeah, Filipino club, I'm there. Tell me
Yeah.
when, tell me where, I'm there. So yeah, since when we arrived there, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was kind of like those like winery shows where you kind of just play music in the background and people are eating and hanging out. But
Mhm.
I think that was the first show in a long time where all eyes were just on me. And it was like I was like the main event basically. So I wasn't really mentally prepared for that. I was like, oh, everyone's actually paying attention to what I'm singing. Okay, cool. Which was really great. I'm just used to, back playing acoustic shows being more of the background kind of vibe setter, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
were you maybe got too caught up in that all that attention on you? Were you caught yourself kind of stumbling on some words, or you just felt you were confident the whole time, even with that extra attention?
Yeah, I was, I feel like over time performing, over time, you get more comfortable on stage, and whatever's handed to you, you kind of just run with it.
Mhm.
When I'm on stage, or when I was on stage and was able to perform, I would get a little bit nervous beforehand, but it just has become such like a second nature sort of thing that I kind of just block out any sense of nervousness or um, any like insecurities or whatever, and just do my thing.
Yeah. What is your pre-show ritual usually?
Pre-show ritual, it's changed a lot over the years. So I guess now, typically, I like to take a few hours before the gig to kind of warm up, get myself ready. Um, One thing that I guess is kind of weird that I do is I don't like to eat like right before I sing, just to kind of like really focus on, okay, be present, be centered. Um, and then I do the show. Nothing too special, like pretty standard.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, starting doing this podcast, I had to start timing when I start getting stuff set up. I have a second camera, I have a better light source, and I also have to figure out when is the proper time to stop drinking water, and also when the time to do the last bathroom break. Because
Right.
actually, it was during Miguel's where I was like, I drank too much water, and now I'm going to have to put this interview on pause. And I was like, never again, never
Yeah.
again.
That's the worst, to be performing when you need to use the restroom. It's like you want to be present, but you're like, all right, let's get this going. I need to leave.
Luckily, though, for me, I'm just sitting stationary. When you're performing, you're standing. You could do a little dance, the bathroom dance, and no one will notice because they're like, "Oh, she's
That's
just
very
really
true.
feeling it. She's feeling
Yeah.
it."
Just really into it.
So your husband, which is his name is Shane Richardson,
Yeah,
correct?
that's right.
So he's also known as Shane Taylor. How did you two know each other? Or how did you two meet? How did you two meet? Wow, sorry, just.
No, you're good. We met back in 2014. Um, he actually had posted a screenshot of this song cover I did on YouTube, basically with a caption that said, "Oh, click the link in my bio to see my new cover." That when I was more active on doing covers on YouTube,
Mm,
and he had responded to the posts and said, "Hey, I'm new to Portland. He just moved from LA. He's a musician, really likes my voice, and he just wanted to connect, kind of networking sort of thing." And I found out that the following weekend we both were playing a show at different venues in Seattle. So we were planning to like meet up with the band and all that. It just didn't work out. So then back in Portland, the next week or so, we kind of just connected, and we were friends at first, playing music together. He was actually in a band with his younger brother and some of my good friends now. Um, and we all just became great friends and started playing gigs together. And then the rest is history.
So when you two got married in 2018, were you thinking, because what was your stage name? Was this Alana Reyes, or is it just Alana, or what was it before that?
So I've had a few different, I guess, versions of my name. For at the beginning of my career, I was Alana Ray. My
Mm,
maiden name, or my actual last name, is Rains.
mm.
So I kind of shortened it. And so it was Alana Ray. And then I think about like 4 or 5 years later, I just went by Alana. Now I'm Alana Rich.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So when you and Shane got married, did you
Mhm.
kind of like back of your head thinking like, this could work great for my career? Because Alana Rich, it's still Richardson, just shorten it. What were
Yeah.
you? Did any
What
of
my,
that kind of cross your mind?
um, you know, I feel like throughout my career, I've kind of integrated like who I actually really am, my real life. Not that my music isn't my real life, but it's definitely kind of a role I step into. I've incorporated that into my name. So I was
Mhm.
like, well, I'm changing my last name to Richardson. If I still go by Alana or just Alana Ray, it doesn't really feel completely like who I am in this moment. So
Mhm.
I was just like, let's knock off the last few letters of my new last name and call it good. So in the end, yes, it did work out.
Yeah, like I was thinking, oh, maybe your next album cover, because I've seen some of your covers on Spotify. I was just for some odd reason I was thinking, the 3-bit picture you with the 3-bit sunglasses and like a 3-bit like chain with an
Oh my
S on
god.
it, just really, really 90s it up.
Yeah. Ooh, that's an idea. I'm doing a photo shoot pretty soon for my new project. So
You can have that one for free.
okay, thank you.
So so then when you got married with Shane, obviously he was known as Shane Taylor. What was it like being featured on some of his songs? Because I, I just don't know the process. Help me out.
Yeah. Well, I think both Shane and I were just artists by nature. He's played guitar and has been in bands since he was, I think, like 14, 15. And same with me. I've been a writer and singer since I was very little. So I think just creating and writing and singing just comes naturally to both of us.
Mm.
So naturally, our relationship is both obviously marital, but also a creative one. Most of the time, what he'll do is he'll bring a song to me, and he'll say, "Oh, I really want to hook on this song. Can you write something?" And then I'll take it and just kind of put my spin on it, and it's vice versa. It's more of like a collaborative process rather than him, being like, "Oh, I need you for this." We have a very kind of like ebb and flow kind of creative relationship.
Okay. Now, when it comes to couples in the music world, is Beyonce and Jay-Z, are they like the golden standard, or are there other ones you want to reach for?
Oh, I mean, whew, that's pretty hard to top, Beyonce and Jay-Z. I think, for us, our goal is just to continue to create together, to keep a forward momentum. Especially in this last year, it's kind of felt a little bit stagnant, but the only way to grow and to kind of keep the positivity up is for us just to keep that forward momentum and continue to build. Mm-hmm. We make music together. We raise 2 dogs together. We also work together, throughout the week.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah.
Beyonce and Jay-Z are definitely some idols of ours.
Gold standard right there. It's like always the pinnacle at the top of the ladder you're always trying to reach. Well, there you go. So Shane has started, as you just said, he started when he was 14, pretty young. You also started out fairly young, because I remember seeing in your, so my research process for interviews is usually just dig as much as I can on social media. And I saw photos of you on stage singing. Now, when you think of your journey from singing on stage, doing covers, to recording your first music video in 2012 called Cigarette Man.
Yes.
How was that? What do you think of that journey?
It was recording and writing was part of my life for those first, I think it was 3 years until I put out an album and made that music video. And that, at that moment, I was like, yes, we're finally making some progress. Because a huge part of my writing process is I also see visuals when I write my songs. So it was really cool to kind of put those thoughts onto paper and then bring it to these talented, they're a brother duo, the Wakayama brothers. They're a director and filmmaker duo. It was really cool to take my idea to them and see it just turn into something that was beyond my imagination. Definitely looking back on that video, I was like, okay, it was a pretty basic concept. But at the time I was like, wow, this is mind blowing. It's so cool to bring my music and my art to these people that can take it to the next level and give people something to look at as well.
Yeah. What was super cool about watching that video again, or just watching it, was just some of those people those actors, models, were people we went to school with.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you say to them to get them to, be on board with this idea?
I think I was just like, hey, I'm shooting a music video. Do you guys want to be in it? A lot of them were my good friends at the time. One of my best friends, Allie, was in it.
Hmm.
Let's see, Zarin, who was the main
Yeah.
love interest in it. He was a good friend of mine as well. I think there was a couple of
There's one more guy you also did some work with earlier. I saw him in the hallways, but I never caught his name. But he was also in the music video. Like
was it Bobby?
maybe.
Bobby Rake. He is a model.
Okay.
Man, I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but yeah, he was on some modeling show back in high school. I don't recall the name.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a couple other people. Oh, Javier as well. Javier
Mm.
Mendez. He was my guitarist at the time, still a really good friend of mine. And my little sister was also in the video. So yeah, it was like a mesh of family and friends, which made it really fun because it just made the set feel very comfortable and very natural to the camera.
Yeah, and I believe your 10-year anniversary is going to be next year, obviously in
Oh my gosh.
2022. So if this interview kind of leads you to reconnect with some of those people prior to, I'm going to be so honored. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna be
I
like, thank you, Keoni.
I just really want to tell her story and get my acceptance speech all up and going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're definitely bringing up so many memories that I just slipped my mind. So
You're
I
a
might
busy woman though. That's why.
I try to stay busy, but yeah, it's really nice to reminisce on some of these things.
What do you think happens to yourself when you are not busy? When you're just finally have things all done, you get to settle down. For me, I'm just like I feel like I get a little agitated, I like a little like finicky. I'm just like, oh my god,
Mhm.
I should be doing something. I don't. This feels
Right.
weird. So how
I
do
feel
you
the
feel?
same. I feel the same way. I'm trying to be better about that. I'm trying to be okay with being still when I have done all the things that I needed to do for the day. But I do think that I thrive when I am working toward a goal, whether it be with music, whether it be with like putting up the Christmas tree, or setting little tasks for myself throughout the day to kind of just keep that forward momentum, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you and Shane ever like help each other remember to relax, or you kind of all both on your own kind of worlds?
I think I am the one that kind of reiterates that to him, that we need to chill sometimes because yeah, like I said, we both work together, so we do work like actually maybe 5 6 days a week, on our own business, and then we're constantly writing after work. We also, we have two little dogs that are full of energy, so um, it is really nice once in a while to take a break, and I have to really let him know, okay, tonight we are going to just do nothing. We're gonna watch TV, but we always somehow find a way to keep working or something. I
Yeah.
feel.
I was so for my work, I get to write the internal newsletter that we just send out since COVID started. We want to keep everyone in the loop, a little bit interested. There was my most recent interview person. She was like, I can't stay still. I have to keep working. Even as I was talking with her, she was knitting. I was like, God.
Whoa, ambitious.
I was very tempted to be like, so I will take a scarf since you are
Yeah.
knitting stuff.
Are you making that for me? Thank you.
Oh, my God, I'll certainly take that as a reward for writing your story.
Right. That's
So
hilarious.
now, do you two ever, get obviously you guys are married, you do, you help each other on each other's musics. Are you ever just like, I need a break? I need to just go be with my friends back when, let's say pre-COVID, but are you just
Yeah.
like, we spend too much time together, or are you just like, you're happy being with each other 24/7?
I think that Shane and I have a very, very unique relationship where we can work together. Most married couples, it's almost like no, we cannot work in the same workplace. We can't live together and then also do all these things together. But with us, it's like it comes pretty naturally, I think. We also are the type of couple that's okay with being quiet and
Oh,
allowing ourselves to have time alone. Like be at one end of the house and then he'll be at the other end. But I do think that it is really important and healthy to separate ourselves at times. Uh, I'm I feel very lucky to have one of my best friends work at our business as well. So it is fun to hang out with her. So she's in our pod. And yeah, take time to have some girl time
Yeah.
and let him do his thing.
Yeah. Girl time, guy time,
Yeah,
some
exactly.
some form of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there you go. But you are also in your girl time. It seems like you are still keeping up with the fashion and keeping up with what's hot, as the
Uh-huh.
kids say. I don't know. Maybe they do say it or not.
I think that's what they say. What's hot?
What's hot? What's not?
Yeah.
Back in 2013, you got to open up for the Portland Fashion Week. What
Yes.
do you remember about that? Because 2013 was like 5 lifetimes ago. But
I know. Oh my gosh. I think so. I actually got in touch with, I think she was the director of the Portland Fashion Week. And I had seen her post, oh, we need a musical act. And I just kind of sent her some of my videos and she said, perfect, let's do it. And it was a little nerve wracking because it was my first um, show or showcase where I wasn't playing music for the purpose of people hearing my music. It was more so like this multi-dimensional fashion show, and they wanted some music to set the mood. So I was kind of nervous, but also very excited to be able to curate songs for that show. I think I was maybe 18 or 19. So going into that being like a teenager still, I was like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? But it was a really amazing opportunity. I feel like as me as an artist, I really love fashion. I love music itself. I love all art disciplines, and I have much respect for that. So it was a very special experience to be able to open the show for that.
yeah, I remember hearing about the Victoria's Secret, fashion show, seeing that on TV. Did you think that would be something you'd be doing, where you have like a whole band and then they just do the runway and you're just rocking out? Or
Yeah, that would be really cool. Actually, before COVID hit, the Portland Fashion and Style Awards, they were gearing up for they have a few fashion shows throughout the year to kind of showcase the designers and the models and all of the people that participate in the fashion industry here. Basically, they wanted me to do music kind of in a similar way to the Victoria's Secret fashion show while the models were walking down, but COVID hit and that's put on hold until we can gather again.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe, hopefully, eventually it'll happen.
yeah. I feel like once, because with vaccine coming in, about a couple of weeks ago, and things starting to ramp up. I feel like once the gates are back open, we're all healthy. So many events are going to go going on in
Oh
Portland.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
you're going to be a needed woman everywhere.
I'm ready for it. Honestly, I'm so ready to get back and playing shows. But luckily, we have the internet to be able to chat with people, hang out with people, and play music too in the meantime.
Yeah. Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
But and so there are some bands, I want to say, or maybe some like shows they do live stream through, like, let's say
Mhm.
Facebook or anything like that. Did you or Shane think about doing something like that, where you just do a live show through Zoom or whatnot?
Yeah. We actually performed at this Hip Hop Fighting for Cancer benefit show. I think it was back in this summer. I'm so bad with dates. It was
August of
sometime in the past few months.
August of 2020. Look at that, leading
Oh,
into the next topic. Woo, you're good.
there you
You're
go. August
good.
of 2020. Isn't that long already? Wow. But yeah, we played the Hip Hop Fighting for Cancer benefit show. And that was a very interesting experience in the best way possible, though. So basically, there was a camera set up facing the stage, and what we did, each act would go up, they'd hit play on your track, you'd perform as if you were performing to an audience, a live audience. Um, And yeah, that was basically the experience. It was very different from playing live shows because usually you kind of feed off of the energy of the crowd,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's an interesting new thing we have to navigate now as performing artists. But
Yeah.
overall, it was a great benefit show. I am Jordan, who's a very talented rapper and philanthropist in the area. He put that show on to benefit cancer research. So very happy to be part of it.
Do you have any kind of numbers as far as how much you guys raised or how much it helped?
Um, you know, I'd have to look back at the the post. I think we raised at least like a few $100s for that one show, and it is an ongoing donation set up for the cause. Hip Hop Fighting for Cancer on Instagram regularly posts great information and like cancer facts. Also, they donate a ton of like Nike shoes or any maybe like art related things to Dornbecker Hospital. So you should check them out on Instagram. I believe it's at Hip Hop Fighting for Cancer.
And then I will also add the link in the description below for that one. So, help out. We got to
Yeah,
always help out.
yeah. Even if you can't donate at this time, you can always repost on your social media is super helpful.
Yeah. And for me, when I'm not sure if you sung in a mask or something like that, or you were able to just do it without the one. I thought about having some people come in to do the interview in person. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I could give this a shot. But then when it came to like wearing mask, I was worried that the voice would sound a little muffled. Did you
Mm-hmm.
sing at all for this concert or this festival? Did you have a mask on while you sang? Did you take it off, or how did they keep all the artists separate?
Yeah, so everyone was required to wear a mask upon entering. Also, when you weren't performing, you had to wear a mask.
Okay.
The camera guy wore a mask, sound guy wore a mask. Even DJ OG1, who is a DJ within Portland, he wore the mask the whole time.
Mm.
And you only took it off to perform. Luckily, I brought my own mic though because I wanted to be a little extra careful with
Yeah.
sharing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable the whole time. The venue was very big, and there was only maybe like 5 of us there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's possible to do some live shows. I think maybe in the winter months it's a little bit more iffy, but yeah, we're still trying to learn and navigate this new landscape. So
Yeah, I've been wondering because I go downtown, let's say, to meet up with some friends, and this was like during the summer where it's like, cool, okay, we can go outside, it's nice out, we can be spread out. But then when it got to like winter and rainy, I was always wondering because, for example, right now it's kind of crappy outside. It's
oh
raining.
yeah,
It's great. I was like, I wonder how the bars and restaurants are going to do, and then also with concerts when it
yeah,
gets back in the swing of it, it's like, ooh, it's going to be it could be like the 70s in Woodstock with all the mud and just
right.
there you go.
I've actually seen like well, now restaurants and bars are not allowed to have people within their building. They can have them sit and drink and eat on the patio outside. But I've seen some venues or some bars and restaurants hire like performing musicians to play outside. So that's kind of a way to continue live music and performing. It's like, who wants to perform in the cold?
Yeah, exactly.
you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, that's all we really can do right now is either perform outside or.
Now, how is the musician community doing with COVID and recovery? I know some people are getting back in the studio. You got back in the studio. I saw that on your Instagram,
Mhm.
looking with the lighting too, the different color lighting. Fantastic photo. How is everyone else in the community handling the situation this year?
Right. I think I can only speak for those that I communicate with throughout a daily basis or weekly basis. And I think at first it was very jarring. It was very unexpected for everything to just or to life for life to just stop completely. So I think for me personally, in the first like 5-6 months of 2020, I was kind of like in shock, thinking, oh, like am I going to have to stop doing music? Is this appropriate for me to release? There was just a lot of like thoughts going in my head, like, is music going to be ever the same? A little
Mhm.
dramatic, I think, but you know, as an artist, a little dramatic. But I think now I kind of got out of that creative block and mental block, and I'm like, you know, the only way to keep going, to keep the vibes up and be happy is to just try to continue to write and release and not pretend that everything's normal, but you know, you have to kind of morph to the ever changing musical landscape.
Yeah. And I remember, let's say maybe earlier in December, where Kid Cudi and Taylor Swift dropped some new songs and new
Oh,
albums on Spotify and
mm-hmm.
maybe other platforms. And I remember all over social media, people were just like stoked. They're like, yes, finally, this is what 2020 needed.
Absolutely.
So I don't believe you don't have anything that has released so far in 2020 because I think you're still working on some things.
Mm-hmm.
But the photos you've posted, what have some of your fans said about that? Those kind of like hype photos, those kind of like, oh, here's a little teaser of what could be coming in 2021.
Mm-hmm. I think that, you know, by putting out those photos, it's kind of me like letting everyone know, okay, you know, I was on a hiatus. I finally have gone out of that creative funk, and you know, I'm working to put out more content, because I think even though it's kind of a strange time right now for artists to be releasing and music and content and whatnot. It's a sensitive time, I guess, is what I'm saying. People do need that positive content. They want some sort of outlet to kind of escape from what's going on right now. So I think that I'm hoping everyone's excited about what I'm about to release, because I'm really excited about it. It's very different from what I've written and released before.
Yeah. And then your most recent song you released was Azul Amor. And it was, as you know, Azul Amor, Blue Love,
Yeah,
obviously for my years of learning Spanish.
yeah.
What did writing that song mean to you?
Uh, you know, that was actually Azul Amor was the first song that I had written in quarantine. Um, like I said, I was kind of in the beginning, when things were kind of still unprecedented. Um, I was very uninspired. I was kind of like, you know, feeling the stress of what was going on. But one day I stumbled across this instrumental, and it just kind of sparked inspiration in me. So I sat down in my bedroom, I put it on play and repeat, and I just kind of sang what came to mind. That's kind of my writing process. Is if I feel an instrumental, I'll just put it on loop and I'll push record on either my phone or, you know, I don't know, GarageBand or whatever, and kind of just sing and then splice things together. So that was kind of the breakthrough song of breaking through my little funk. And yeah, you know, I think it's also the first in a lot more pop songs that kind of have that more dancey, chill vibe, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I listened to Shangri-La, and
Mm-hmm.
then I've heard, you know, some of your, like when I listened to Cigarette Man, that was more of like a kind of country-ish, a little bit of pop, and also very
Yeah.
soulful. And
Yeah.
then with Shangri-La, it did kind of give me that, I don't want to say Kesha vibe, where
Oh yeah.
it was like, you know, very like upbeat dancing, and then
Uh-huh.
also it's like you could hear this at the club. So
Yeah.
when you did Azul, or during this process, are you automatically thinking like, oh, this could have this kind of vibe, this could have this kind of vibe, or you just focus more on the lyrics? And
I think it's a little bit of both. I definitely am one of those songwriters that emphasizes the lyrics. But I also want the lyrics to be complemented by like the vibe of the song, the energy put into the delivery, and just all the different components. So with Shangri-La, actually, my friend Matt Diamond, who's out of the UK, he's a producer over there, sent me this instrumental, and I was like, okay, I'm liking this. And yeah, like my writing process is, I just turn it on and I kind of just get into the flow of it, kind of vibe off the beat, and then something just comes out, and that's how my songs work. I don't. That's why I was like, when people ask me, "What is your genre?" Like, what do you identify as an artist and genre wise? I'm like, pop. Like, I draw so many influences from all types of music that one song probably doesn't sound the same as the next.
Yeah, and the genres are now kind of all mixing together because some rock is now what people are. I guess when I, again, go into Spotify, look up rock, I see, some bands on there that I would not consider rock. I consider more than a little
Mm-hmm.
more punk or a little more pop. And then I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't remember if I saw like Miley Cyrus's new album was considered rock.
Yeah.
I was like, that
By the
feels
way,
weird.
phenomenal record. You should definitely check it out. Her voice is made for rock. Uh,
Yeah, because isn't her dad Billy Ray Cyrus country music singer?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
She does have that country twang in her voice, even though it's classified as rock or pop rock, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. A lot of the genres these days are kind of breaking the barriers between each other and crossing over. Like MGK. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was,
Yeah, I've okay. So it's Machine Gun Kelly, right?
yeah, you're right.
Okay, because I go to Hot Topic because I look for the pop figures. I don't know if you can see it right. I just see
Yeah,
MGK. I was like, what does that mean?
yeah,
Am
yeah.
I
But
that
she's
old?
really, yeah, and it's funny because now, well, going off another tangent, Hot Topic actually like is a hub for all types of genres, which I think is really cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can see that now that I think about it.
yeah. But yeah, with MGK, he was a rapper obviously when he started off, but now he released this like pop punk semi rap album, which I guess went number one for the first time in his career.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really cool how the audiences and the listeners are now embracing all these different genres
Yeah.
that otherwise wouldn't have been mainstream like a couple years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably as people grow and people tend to, because as born in 1991, going into the 2020s, I've noticed that people are more accepting of other ideas, or at least from the the very blinding Pacific Northwest kind of
Yes.
mindset, where thinking like, oh, we accept odd ends, odd things,
Mhm.
and this song might sound a
Yeah.
little funky with a xylophone, but I can rock
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's interesting how like this even social political landscape kind of mirrors off of music, and it's actually cooler and more accepted to be a little bit left field, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, when
Uh,
in regard to music.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you're more individual.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a great, it is also, it's a kind of a new time for musicians, especially with not being able to go play shows and whatnot, but it's also a very exciting time for music because um, people are wanting to hear your art, or see your paintings and whatnot.
And see your face actually sing the songs
Yeah.
versus like, through video or
Mhm.
through just Spotify or
Yeah.
the platforms.
Mhm.
So I'll be very mad at myself if I don't ask this. How did you feel about Kanye West this past year?
Kanye West. Um, you know, I don't pay attention to like tabloids so much, but I do love a good scrolling through entertainment news and stuff. So I think Kanye is an artist. I'm the type that's like live and let live. Some of the
Yeah.
things he's done is a little bit controversial, um, but overall, I think it just is difficult in general to be in the public eye and go through what looked like a mental health crisis and still be you know going about your regular life. So I feel for him in that regard. But again, not to go too deep into
Yeah, of
politics and whatnot, it's a little
course.
bit controversial.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when he said that he was going to like, oh, run. I was like,
Right.
are you though? And then I think I saw a joke, maybe it was like last year, where Dwayne Johnson was going to run and have Tom Hanks as
I
his
did
vice
see that.
president.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there it is. Submitting my ballot.
Right. It's so interesting how celebrities now have the agency to run for these roles and people are supporting them. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's we'll see what happens in the
Yeah.
next few years.
So before we jump into more, I do. So your song called "Foreign" that you released, I believe, maybe 2018. I, maybe it could
I
be wrong on
think
that
that
date.
was 2019.
2019 still.
Yeah.
There is a
Oh no,
line.
actually, yeah. I'm sorry. It was 2020, early 2020.
Early 2020. Okay, so my earlier statement when I said I was wrong when I said that I don't think you released anything 2020.
Yeah.
Completely wrong. I
Mhm.
apologize to the people listening. So in the song "Foreign," there's a line that I heard that I wanted to ask you about. So girls that look like me, they never seen someone who looked like me. So as someone that is from the Philippines and from Thailand and Laos, and making it in this industry, what does it mean to you to be a minority woman and continuing push your dream?
To me, I think it's amazing how these days people of color are being embraced in the media and as artists and are looked up to as artists. You know, being a minority, being an Asian American woman, I never really felt super in play, like, I guess, accepted into um, the music industry until recently. You know, because no one looked like me on TV. No one, uh, you know, you didn't see Asian Americans, Asian people on your TV or in music or whatever. So um, to me now, to be an artist, kind of leading the way in that sense. I think it's really cool for those younger generations of Asian Americans as well to see like, okay, hey, this girl is able to follow her dreams and you know, put out music and kind of keep up with uh, mainstream media in a sense. And yeah, basically, it's really cool to be that person that I needed when I was a young girl. Um, yeah,
So when you started singing, you were
yeah.
on stage. Now,
Uh-huh.
how did you react, or how did you do? How do you remember yourself reacting when you started gaining
Right.
more attention, the fame, your
Mhm.
status in the public eye started to rise because you
Right.
are
Okay.
out there on stage, you are doing Cigarette Man, and you are still in high school too.
Right. I think that the main thing, or one of the main struggles I think all artists go through is kind of this like imposter syndrome, thinking, oh, you know, why am I getting this recognition, or you know, am I worthy of this praise? Um, and then also on the other hand, kind of having like being afraid to release things because you don't want to be judged or you know be portrayed in a wrong way. But I think the biggest thing that's helped me get over those mental blockages as an artist is to understand that you don't have control over how your art is perceived. You know, it's releasing art is something very special and very personal, and you obviously want it to be received well, but it can't always be received the way you want it to be received. So, you know, just letting go of that control and you know just continuing to do your thing. And that's why I'm still releasing music today because I'm like, you know, I'm doing it for me. You know, I do want people to enjoy it, but I don't have that control over how if they like it or not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So no, let's take it back to like high school, college, where you got your report cards, you got your grades, A, C, A. It's that one negative, the one C that's always going to
Yeah,
haunt you. What
exactly.
has been a comment that you've received that in the early stages, or maybe if it's still with you today, that's kind of helped you stay motivated? Like you want to keep proving that person wrong for saying
Mhm.
that one thing.
Oh, so like, what's that one critique that sticks with me?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
saying, okay. One thing that stuck with me, and I don't think it's as relevant now as it was back when I started, was, um, you're probably not going to make an impact or make it, whatever that means, as an artist, because you are a minority. And that was like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
So because of who I am, that's going to work as a hindrance to my success. Is that what you're saying? And that actually was a driving force for me to continue to release music in a way that I want to release it. So thank you to that person that said that to me, because that was really harsh to hear as a young girl. But I think that's what needs to happen as an artist, is like, you're going to have people critiquing you and putting your work down or whatever, but you just have to take it and roll with the punches and grow with it.
Yeah, I know. And the reason for me, it's, I don't have that kind of critique. Well, actually, my father's that critiquer. He always, Filipino fathers, they're very, very
Yeah.
judgy.
Asian families in general.
Asian families in general. But, my last girlfriend, she was like, you're not doing anything to help yourself. You need to start focusing more on your school. And then obviously we broke up, but it's just like every episode I release, I'm always like, screw you.
Yeah.
With all respect, screw you for saying that I'm not doing things for myself. I'm going to keep pushing this podcast because I'm going to keep professionally and courteously shoving it in your face that I can still do things.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that's helped me kind of get past those naysayers and the negative people is how people react to you is more of a reflection of themselves rather than yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
People can easily pick out the shortcomings of others because that's how they see themselves. If that makes sense. So kudos to you for keeping the podcast up. Keep it up.
Yeah, just gonna keep politely shoving it in the face, saying I am doing something with my life.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah, because you're an attractive woman, you're a minority. I feel like when you got started into this industry, again back in high school, a lot of people were just commenting on your looks, obviously saying like you're attractive, blah blah blah, all these compliments. How do you kind of still tune that out? Because obviously you're still a woman that wants to live her life, date whoever you want to date, marry Shane. How did you, when you see those kind of messages that are a little too derogatory, what do you do?
Well, I think that it's human nature to kind of see a person and judge someone immediately, whether it be based on their looks or how they dress or whatever. So in that respect, I'm like, okay, everyone's gonna judge me. Like, doesn't matter who it is. My grandma could judge me, or you know what I mean. But yeah, in the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, so you're saying these comments about how I look, is that distracting you from the art? And that actually was kind of something that bugged me for a while. It's like, it kind of discredits the level of like my craft in a way, when people just focus only on how I look. But I think kind of a way that I've gotten over dwelling on that one judgment as an artist is, I just need to continue to work extra hard at honing in my craft, and the music will speak for itself, if regardless of how you look. So
yeah, exactly. It's like when you listen to your music on Apple or iTunes or whatnot, you're gonna hear your voice. You're not gonna see your face. You'll see your face on the album cover, but it's like it's all about your voice and your lyrics and the music.
Exactly. And like, the show The Voice kind of showcases that perfectly. Like, the art should speak for itself. The voice should speak for itself. Everything else is kind of just frills and whatnot.
Speaking of frills, what do you think of The Masked Singer?
The Masked Singer, I've actually watched a few episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I like to skip ahead and just find out who it is because
Yeah.
I don't have time to watch all this. And I'm a little impatient in that in that sense because yeah, you know, I think it's an
I
interesting show. But.
and then they have what, the Masked Dancer now. They have all these other
Oh, they
shows.
do?
I don't know. I just heard about this.
That's so funny. The Masked Dancer.
I feel like you get so
It's an interesting
sweaty.
concept. Yeah, you'd get sweaty for sure.
Yeah. But other than The Masked Singer, what other shows do you watch to help yourself unwind and loosen up after a hard day of work?
Oh man. Let's see. We've been watching a lot of Christmas movies lately. Just watched Santa Claus, the first movie last night.
Okay.
Um, I, I'm really into travel cook and eating shows.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah. There's one on Netflix right now. Oh, I can't remember the name, but it's I think Flavors of Origins or something.
I think I heard
Something
about that.
along those
Yeah.
lines. Yeah, it's a really great show. Also, there's a YouTuber or a couple YouTubers that I follow, who they travel and eat and do all that. Mark Wiens. I don't know if you've heard of him.
There's an Asian guy, Mike something, who is based out of like New York. He eats a lot of dumplings and whatnot. So
Oh no, I don't know him.
Mikey Chen, there it is.
Mikey Chen. Okay, I'll have to check him out. But Mark Wiens lives in Thailand,
Oh, okay.
and it's interesting also to see how they're handling COVID right now and how he's handling it as a food blogger because his main thing is traveling to eat. So somehow he's still able to make it work. But yeah, lots of travel eating shows, lots of Christmas movies. What else? I just like to also put on music videos while I'm like cleaning and
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah.
There, if you have access or can get access to Disney Plus, I know Gordon Ramsay does his traveling cooking show. He went to Hawaii for an episode, and I think he went to maybe Thailand also. But I remember watching those when I had some family in from Hawaii, and then I was just like, they were all just so enthralled in what was going on. And I was like, when in doubt, if you have people over, you don't know what to play, there's no sports, just put on some cooking shows.
Exactly.
There we
Like, how
go.
could you not like it?
How can,
I
how
do
can I
have
not
Disney
like
Plus
hungry?
though, so I will check that out.
There it is. There it is. Helping each other out.
Yes.
So when, let's say, going back to your musical career real quick.
Mhm.
So let's say Shane is off doing something else, or he's off on tour or whatnot. So you're just kind of at home by yourself. Who do you go to kind of talk out your anxieties, you talk out your fears, and talk out just to help get your mind back to that clear slate for you
Mhm.
to continue making more music?
I would say definitely my mom. My mom is the number one for who I call when I just kind of want to pick me up and just being able to, you just want to talk to your parents sometimes.
Yeah.
And also my sister, Melanie. She lives in Seattle now, so I don't get to see her as often. So being able to give her a call is really helpful with that. And then also some of my best friends that one of them lives here and one lives in LA. So yeah, just chatting with them on a daily basis is a really grounding force.
Yeah. Yeah. And it must be good to also reach out to them, especially with this last year, and just trying to figure out like
Mm-hmm.
how they're doing and how they're surviving. Have you picked up any new traits since in 2020?
Any new trades? I want to say yes. I started cooking more, starting to do all these things. I was a little ambitious in the beginning, and then let's see, what have I done in this quarantine?
You moved, so that's always an
I did
accomplishment.
move. Yes, that
Uh,
that was interesting to move during COVID.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's never, you're not trying to outdo anyone. It's like, yeah, those small victories always count towards
yeah,
something because it's your victory.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to think about that question because I know I've done some. Oh, actually,
Oh,
I just thought of it.
she
I
got it.
I looked at my mug and then I realized I learned how to make a really mean matcha latte.
Ooh. Yeah, you
And
said that earlier. You said that earlier that when you get your day started, you look at Christmas tree, you start your matcha.
hmm
Matcha? I feel like, I guess the matcha I've had super strong, unless I'm having it wrong.
I think it's definitely the way you prepare it, and also the grade of matcha. So the matcha I use is like imported from Japan, like from the Kyoto prefecture,
Oh my God.
to be specific. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a matcha nerd now. But yeah, it's kind of just trial and error. It's not super hard. I just have been enjoying experimenting with different flavors in my matcha, like rose and all these different things. So that's one thing that I've learned this quarantine.
What do you do with the failed experiments? You just give it to Shay and be like, "Oh, it's so delicious. You should have some."
Exactly, yes. Or I'll just force myself to drink it and remind myself, okay, next time we can't put too much matcha or it'll be too bitter, or we need to add a little bit more of this. And
If it's later in the day, you could be like, add a little bit of whiskey, maybe a tequila.
Ooh, whiskey and matcha.
Yeah,
Not allowed.
just swipe that from your memory. Let's never bring that up
Maybe a little
again.
bit of I don't know, some vodka or peppermint schnapps or something.
Ah. Yeah, what is your usual like holiday alcoholic beverage? Because I think peppermint schnapps. That doesn't sound too bad. That sounds all right. What about you?
Peppermint schnapps is good. I would say I do. I like whiskey. I was more of a whiskey drinker when I was a little younger, but I still enjoy a nice glass of whiskey on the rocks. I also am a white wine gal. Love white wine. There's this vineyard called Bonterra. They do like organic wines, super
Mm.
good. They're Sauvignon Blanc, really good.
Hey.
Um, yeah, I'm not a huge mixed drink kind of person.
Okay.
I'm either like, let me just drink it straight or drink like some wine or something.
My current job, it's a bunch of wine drinkers. So then they get wine
Okay.
shipments all the time. And then there's one guy who's like, Keoni, I hear you don't drink wine. I was like, yeah, but with all this wine coming in, kind of interested. Let's see how it
Mhm.
goes. So he slowly got me on that train. And then,
Wine kick.
yeah,
You're safe.
he gave me a bottle of Merlot, and that was a punch to the face. I was like,
Yeah.
I can drink this. And then
Yeah.
I also got a blend that
Red blend.
yeah, a red blend. There are a bunch of red wine drinkers, but
Hmm.
I'm a sweets person. So if I were to like chug some wine, it would be like I think it's Chardonnay. I think
Chardonnay's
it's a
that
white to
one's
white.
a little bit more like the buttery after finish.
It's
You're probably
Moscato.
Moscato, yeah.
That's the one I'm
Ooh,
thinking of. Ooh.
oh, I can't do that. I cannot. That's like a dessert wine for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just like I take one sip. I'm like, oh, this is good. One glass down. Give me the
Yeah.
bottle. I'm
I
like,
bet your headaches are great in the morning after that.
I had my first wine headache. I think maybe like after Thanksgiving or something like that. And I was just like, oh, is this what it's
Those are
like?
fun. Mhm.
Mm, I don't know how to swim, but yeah, my head is swimming.
Yeah. That tends to happen a lot during the holidays, I feel like, or just 2020 in general. You're
Yeah,
indulgent a little too much in some wine or some any alcohol.
yeah. I oh that and then like usually you're on this tail end. You're like, okay, I should probably go start working out, but then it's like it's cold outside, rainy outside, and then I'm like, but there's also cookies in the cupboards. I
Hmm.
think I'm gonna go this route and just do some push-ups.
Yeah, I feel you. I've actually been thinking about that. When I was living at my last place, there was a gym in the building,
Oh.
and I didn't use it as often as I should have. But
Mm.
now that I'm living in a house and don't have a gym, I'm like, oh my god, what was I doing? Like, I need some sort of uh, exercise. So we're thinking of setting up a little makeshift home gym in our garage. So hopefully that happens. We'll see.
There you go. You can keep flexing. Hey!
This makes it look like I'm more buff than I am.
So you're about, let's say, I think you're 27, if I do my math correctly.
I'm turning 27.
Turning 27, and you're a homeowner. How does that feel to say?
Good, yeah. I think that like the progression of like my living situations throughout the past few years has been really um, interesting to say the least. I've moved every single year for the past 4 years, so it's yeah, I know. Um, it's just really nice to finally be in a place that feels like a home and cozy, and um, that I can finally relax in, because I was living in apartments, and I'm a person that's very like energy based. So, the energy of people walking in and out of the building or my neighbors, I kind of like, it does affect me. So I never really felt like I could relax because of so many people in those units. But now it's so nice to just walk through the front door and not have to say hi to the concierge, or not that I don't love interacting with people, but it feels much more relaxed and quiet and peaceful here.
Plus, you and Shane are both musicians, so you can play your instruments and only
Yeah.
have to worry about the neighbors yelling at you at once it gets
Yeah.
past say 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Oh, to stay up past 10 o'clock again. We're like old now. I feel like we'll blast our music until, let's say, like 8 or maybe 9 sometimes, and then lights out after. Yeah, but our neighbors are really cool about us playing music, and us having this kind of lifestyle. So
Oh, there you go. You have a backyard show, invite them, and then there you
yeah.
go, win them over.
But that's the thought. We do have a pretty big backyard and a deck, so we're really excited to use that once it gets more dry, and maybe a backyard show is a thing. We'll see.
See, again, you can have that idea for free,
Mm-hmm.
even though
Thank you.
you thought
So
about
many
it
great
already.
ideas. I'm gonna write all these down.
I got my degree in the creativity world, so let me use my creativity to help you further your career.
Yes, love it. I'm here for it.
Well, Alana, I like to end my interviews by asking a couple hypothetical questions from this packet of 170. So you're only getting two, but if you want the whole 170 gambit, we can make that a whole different episode.
Okay.
So my first episode to you, or my first question, this is your episode, but so if you had to be haunted by a ghost for the rest of your life, but could choose which dead person the ghost would be, which or who would you choose to be as your ghost? Basically, if you could have a ghost haunt you for the rest of your life, who would the ghost be?
Man. See, my mind goes to like my favorite artists that like inspire me. This is difficult. I have a couple.
Which are let's just get that
Which
real
are,
quick.
I would say, Selena Quintanilla. She is a singer. She passed, but she was like one of the first artists that I really got into. I think I was like 2 years old, and she sings in Spanish.
Okay.
So one of the first artists that I really just fell in love with her and her music was a Spanish singer, and I started learning her songs. Um, so Selena Quintanilla. Who else? I'm gonna go with her. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
She's a phenomenal dancer, singer. It'd be fun to kind of just dance around with her.
Yeah. Do some salsa dancing, just
Yeah,
to
exactly.
really get in the drive of it.
Yeah, some cumbia.
You were, unfortunately, this is not your very first podcast appearance. I'm very hurt, but that's okay. I will survive. You were also on Gritty Bird's podcast episode back in 2016. I heard that episode. You were just kind of on there briefly, but you did say that your favorite artist at that time was Christina Aguilera and Tovlo.
Yes.
Those two people are still alive, though, so they are not allowed to be in your answer, unfortunately.
Yes. Although I would love just to have them as mentors, as musical mentors. But yeah, they're still here.
Still kicking.
Yeah.
Like
still some of my favorite artists too, I would say.
I figured, like, when I was looking at these questions, like, I think if I asked that, she would. I feel like that's, within the musical realm, there are a lot of musicians that have passed away that you could have chose from, like Kurt Cobain or Jim Morrison or any of them. So I was like, I feel like she has plenty of ammunition to answer this one on the dot.
Yes. And even after this interview, I'm probably going to be like, oh, there's another person I'd want to haunt me. It's like a weird thing to think about. Who would I like to be haunted by?
Right? Oh, I'm a big comic book nerd. I don't know if you can tell. There's Marvel right here. I got DC up there, and I got some movie ones already over there. For me, it'll probably be Stan Lee, the great man who created Marvel. Just talk with him and nerd out.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. I'm sure he'd appreciate your collection as well.
I have more that you cannot see because it's in the
Yeah.
opposite side. But yeah, this is the makeshift podcast studio, and I figured, I see everyone with like great stuff in their backgrounds. It really shows who them are or who they are.
Hmm.
I got the comic books. I got
Yeah.
University of Oregon. I got my degree right behind me. So it's like,
Oh yeah, knocking out all the main points there.
yeah.
And your environment really does tell a lot about you.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know,
I like to think of it as a flex. I think that's what people call it.
you're like, yeah, I got a small collection of comic book posters. No big
What
deal.
whatevs. No big deal.
Yeah.
I'm just here really doing my thing.
I like
Uh,
it.
if you could, as someone that works with words a lot as a musician, if you could replace any word in common usage with another word and no one would notice, what word would you choose to replace? And then what would be the new word, basically?
Ooh, this is
A doozy.
a doozy. Yes. What word would I change, and what would the new meaning be? This is a hard one. I'm going to be thinking about this and losing sleep over this.
uh,
I'm just going to say, what would you say? Let's
so,
do your answer first. This is a total like cop out for me.
this could also help you get the mind thinking, mind processing a little bit. I use the word a lot,
Okay.
like this blah blah blah. I would like to change that with, maybe, oh god, I was just say and we could just kind of help connect the two
Yeah.
sentences. Let's see, there it is. I would probably say I would replace with, and my next point is, so we're just gonna change it with a
Oh, okay.
phrase. So
I see what you're saying. So something that I say in my vocabulary often that I want to change.
yes, we
I
can
thought
have.
you meant like more in the general scheme of things, like in the dictionary.
We could do that. That's like
Yeah.
option A for the answer, but this option B is probably easier for you. That something that you use every day that you like to change up.
Yeah. Okay. I do say a lot too. I would say I also say or like end my sentences with so a lot, and then I'm sure people are like, so what? And he
Yeah.
like, maybe I'll just say fiend. Like I'm done fiend. Like I'm going to the store to get groceries. Fiend.
And then Shane can come with like a blackboard with the writing Finn on it with a period, and then it's like
Yes.
drops it and
Fiend.
walks away. Fiend, we're done
Yes.
here.
That'd be yeah, no, that's my new persona in 2021 now.
Oh, there you go. Again, if I can help you make this new persona, I feel like this is a successful day.
Okay, I'll keep you posted on how that goes.
Perfect. Alana Rich or Alana Richardson, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at _ Alana Rich _. I'm also on YouTube, Facebook, and all streaming platforms like iTunes or Apple Music, I guess now. Spotify under Alana Rich. Alana Rich on all platforms.
There you go.
So hopefully y'all check me out. Thank you so much.
So right before I let you go, actually, you did give a little teaser to something you were working on, and it's gonna be great. Can you give us any more of a lead into it?
Yes. So my new project that we're finishing up is set to release, I would say, at the end of January. Definitely follow me on social media to get the exact date and updates on that. But I'm really excited about it because it's a very dance pop feel good song, and we put in a lot of hard work and creative energy into it. So I hope you all love it as much as I do. And this is the start of a lot more pop dancey songs that I have going on.
There you go. If you people are back in the clubs in 2021 and you hear Alana Rich on the speakers, there you go. Now you know where you heard it first.
Yes.
Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you and Shane have a great holidays. Granted, this will air after the holidays, but you know what? I can still wish that for you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Likewise. Hope you have a great holiday. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for sticking around until the end of the episode. If you like what you heard or watched and would like more episodes from Keoni Chats, the show can be found on all major podcast platforms under Keoni Chats. A video version is available on YouTube under Keoni Chats as well. So like and subscribe on those platforms to keep in the loop as far as the next episode released. But if you would like to be a guest, go ahead and email me your story at kcmedia13@yahoo.com, and I'd love to get you scheduled. To keep up to date with all of the episode release announcements on social media, the KC Media brand can be found on Instagram and Twitter under KC Media 13. And then on Facebook, it can be found under Conluke Media. So until the next episode, everyone, please take care.